Are you looking for the best gaming mouse? In this video we will look at some of the 6 best mouse on the market before we get started with our video. We have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Razer Viper V3 Pro. If money is no object, the best gaming mouse with a symmetrical design that we've tested is the Razer Viper V3 Pro. It costs a hefty $160, but it'll give you little to complain about if you play a ton of competitive PC games and can stomach the price. With its lightly grooved sides, noticeable but not aggressive hump and gentle flare-outs toward the back, the Viper V3 Pro's shape should be comfortable for a wide range of hand sizes and grip types. It's a bit on the wider side, and it probably works best with a claw or palm grip, but it's not so large or tall that it can't accommodate fingertip grippers. The main mouse buttons are contoured in a way that gives your fingers a natural resting place, and there are little ledges on either side to subtly nudge them to the right spot when you're scrambling in-game. Put another way, this is one of the safer shapes we've tested. The Viper's build quality is excellent. It's impressively light at 54 grams, which makes it a breeze to flick around in fast-paced games, yet its matte plastic frame isn't covered in dust and biting holes like many other options around the same weight. We've seen zero hints of creaking, flexing, or rattling after months of testing. The finish picks up some finger smudges but is grippy and delightfully soft to the touch. The main click buttons use durable optical switches but aren't especially loud. Though they aren't quite as full or crisp as the absolute best mechanical switches, they're still snappy to press, neither too firm nor too light. The 2 programmable side buttons are well-sized and easy to reach. The scroll wheel, meanwhile, is tight and quiet, with clearly defined steps and a textured finish. At number 2. Razer DeathAdder V3 Pro. If you want a premium gaming mouse with a more ergonomic shape, get the Razer DeathAdder V3 Pro. It packs most of the same strengths as the Viper V3 Pro but has a taller, slightly wider, and more dramatically flared design that's tailored to right-handed users. Most people with medium to large hands should find it to be a natural fit with a palm or claw grip, though it'll probably be a touch too fat for smaller-handed folks and fingertip grippers. This kind of shape isn't as easy to whip around as the Viper, but its high, sideways sloping hump should provide a more relaxing place to rest your hand over the course of the day. Razer sells 2 variants of the DeathAdder V3 Pro, one with a similar soft-touch finish as the Viper V3 Pro, and one with a more textured matte plastic coating. We tested the latter. It's not as grippy or smooth to the touch as the Viper, but it's still good, and it's much less of a fingerprint magnet. The DeathAdder's side buttons are bigger, closer together and a smidge less tight, but they're still difficult to hit by accident. The PTFE feet are smaller but still glide reliably. The design is heavier at 63 grams, too, but it's still lightweight. And while the sensor is technically a generation older, performance is effectively flawless. At number 3. Razer DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed. The newer Razer DeathAdder V3 HyperSpeed, which costs $99, is a 1B pick here. Although it's positioned below the Pro and Razer's lineup, it's more of a DeathAdder V3 Pro Mini than a clear downgrade. It doesn't give up the rechargeable battery, cutout-free shell, optical switches and soft, if smudge-heavy, coating of pricier DeathAdder V3 Pro, and while its sensor is technically worse, it still performs wonderfully. Its battery life rating is actually 10 hours higher at 1000 Hz, plus it has a built-in storage compartment for its USB receiver. The major difference is that it's lighter, 55G, and more compact, with a lower profile scroll wheel and a marginally shorter hump. If your hands are on the smaller side and you want an ergonomic shape, it's worth grabbing instead. At number 4. Razer Basilisk V3. It's a few years old, but the Razer Basilisk V3 remains our favorite wired gaming mouse with an ergonomic design. This one is more aggressively contoured than ergo mice like the DeathAdder V3 Pro, with a large rubberized thumb rest, long main buttons and a rounded, moderately sized hump running down its middle. It's fantastically comfy for palm grippers with medium to large-sized hands, but it'll also play well with claw grips. Those who prefer a fingertip grip or just have smaller hands will likely find it too chunky, however. The design as a whole feels robust. There's some minor flexing on the bottom right side when you press down hard, but you'd have to go out of your way to notice it. The matte plastic finish is pleasingly textured and sufficiently grippy. The cable is plenty flexible, while the PTFE feet glide smoothly. We also dig the fun but not garish RGB lighting around the mouse's underside and scroll wheel. There are 11 customizable buttons in total, including 2 easy-to-reach side buttons and a dedicated sensitivity clutch that lets you momentarily drop to a lower DPI for moments where you may need to aim more precisely. The latter will be particularly tough for the smaller-handed to reach comfortably, though. At number 5. Corsair Scimitar RGB Elite. If you want a mouse specifically designed for MMO and MOBA games, get the Corsair Scimitar RGB Elite. It does the most important thing any MMO mouse can do, which is let you access several in-game actions with minimal effort. That's thanks to its 12 programmable side buttons, all of which deliver a comfortable, firm but not stiff sensation when pressed. 2 of the panel's 4 button rows are textured, which makes them easier to distinguish without having to look down. Uniquely, you can physically reposition this side panel with an Allen key included in the box, so if you find the buttons difficult to reach by default, you can address that. Either way, having a host of buttons right under your thumb makes it much easier to play MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV or even single-player RPGs like Baldur's Gate 3, which ask you to navigate multiple hotbars of commands at any given time. At number 6. Pulsar X2 CrazyLight. The $130 Pulsar X2 CrazyLight is worth considering over the Viper V3 Pro and Hitscan HyperLight if you're committed to a claw or fingertip grip and spend all your time playing twitchy shooter games. We're starting to wonder just how many prefixes for the word light these mouse companies can slap onto their products, but the CrazyLight's name is appropriate, as it weighs a mere 37 grams with its standard PTFE skates. It's another short symmetrical model, comparable to the Hitscan HyperLight in overall footprint, but it has a flatter hump down the center. That means it won't really fill out medium to large hands with a palm grip. But it's comfortable for everything else, and its slight frame feels natural in games that demand snap reactions. You know how baseball players will sometimes swing a heavier bat when they're on deck to make their actual bat feel faster? This is sort of like the mouse equivalent of swinging that lighter bat. A reliable sensor and easy gliding feet help, while the clicky optical switches are fast without feeling too sensitive. Expect a sharper tone, though. The scroll wheel is well tuned and precise. There's no creaking or flexing despite the low weight, and it's all coated in a pleasing matte plastic. It also comes in a few fun colors. The 2 side buttons are somewhat thin, and Pulsar's software is a little clunky. This is also another one with an open bottom side, so it's more susceptible to dust than the Viper V3 Pro. Nevertheless, while the CrazyLight isn't quite as welcoming to all hands as Razer's mouse, it does what it sets out to do.